meeting is being recorded.
Thank you, American lady. Right, so let's dive in, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome. My name is Lorne Riseley, host of the Halcyon Show. How you doing? Today I must tread carefully. One poorly worded question and our guest will make it his mission in life to portray me as the moronic rage goblin that I really am. Because today, we get inside the mind of a man who has the best seat in the house of any battle rap event through the lens of an exceptionally expensive camera. He's covered the genre for many, many years, even participated in a few events himself, and this weekend he makes his grand return to Prem as the fan-ordained main event. I said it, not him. Anyway, please welcome the UK battle rap photography GOAT, the one and only Mr. Rick Charles is here. Rick Charles, sir.
Yo, how are we?
Living the dream.
Serious introduction, that wasn't it? Massive introduction.
I try. I'm just jealous of your setup, man. I know I saw it the other day for the first time, but I'm still really annoyed that you have a significantly superior setup to me.
I'm going to be fuming that this whole thing that you're viewing from here is a webcam from Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I think it cost me like 15 quid, maybe. That's it.
I stole this from Cost Cutter. They're missing a camera right now. It wasn't nailed down. I figured it was mine. But I like the setup. I like the professionalism that you're bringing to this, which of course leads me to my first and the main question why people want to tune in to see you on this occasion. You're kind of the man of the moment. Premier Battles is hosting Undisclosed 13 this weekend, November 23rd. Mm-hmm. Tickets still available at premierbattles.club. Go and get your tickets. How do you feel about it going into the event, man?
Do you know what? There was it's been a great year. I mean, we've had as opposed to last year, it's been busy. It's not as busy as it was last year, but that's just because obviously we did the whole league thing and the whole kind of, it was busy last year. really, really busy last year. This year's been nicer. We've thrown a lot of bigger events, I'd say, in terms of what we've offered. Obviously the plug events have been phenomenal this year so far. I'm excited to see Undisclosed. It's been a minute since we've been back in Manchester, and this is mainly because the whole kind of scene, buzz, feel, whatever you want to call it, it's been really difficult. Really, I guess, for Manchester at the bit. So we've just kind of progressed everything to London because there's a bigger buzz down there at the moment. More people are turning up into London events. That's generally why we're there. So we're trying to, whether that happens, get it moving up here. So whenever you're ready, Stro, pull your finger out, lad.
I know you mentioned on our TMR face-off. By the way, sorry about that. I know you mentioned there that you're looking forward to it from the fun perspective. You're looking forward to going in there, giving a performance, having some fun. What's it going to mean then for a year that's been admittedly quite hard for Prem in various aspects, not only because of the way that the first event was went about, and obviously Briggsy being so brutally honest about things as far as the promotion is going. I know that this event is in large part to help something good to permeate, which is the pit.
Yeah.
How does that feel going into it as well? The fact that it's going to do a lot of good.
Obviously, credit where credit due. Briggs is fucking. I hate that I'm going to say this. Briggs is phenomenal at what he does. Like, it doesn't matter who you think the best is, who the GOAT is in the UK battle rap. Briggs is that guy. It doesn't matter. Like, you couldn't tell me any difference. It doesn't matter what league you're running. Like, Briggs is the go-ahead man. He's literally like, yeah, cool, that's going to work. No, that doesn't work. He's a fucking genius, and he knows what working how to make it run. So hats off to the guy. He's a bellend, but hats off to him.
Interesting, ladies and gentlemen.
So on the back of that, I think what's great is the importance of this event in the pit is that we get to come and see battle rap as it is anyway. And then we're going to facilitate some of the footage for that, probably, I think, if I'm right, I might get corrected on this, for some of the pit itself, so some of the crowd action shots, this kind of thing. And just everybody getting together, doing a bit of a fundraising thing for Briggs to be able to shoot this is his vision of what he sees battle rap as and how he wants it to be portrayed, or how he wants it to be seen by the rest of the world is how I would see it. It's great. That's fantastic. Like, what a great reason to do it. This is a man who has spent the best part of 5-6 years in blood, sweat, and tears. I can't even tell you the amount of conversations we've had back and forth, the amount of hours that go into it. like I spend a fair bit of time editing in terms of photography, shooting, going through sci and that kind of thing. Like Briggsy, you know, he doesn't really shoot now, but he did. But like he edits like and does lots of editing, like lots and lots and lots. He does. In fact, he does all the editing for video. So the man is literally booking events, booking the cards, editing the content, and he gets it out immediately. There's no like, oh, when's my battle coming out? Like it's every event is pretty much now. It's same day, same day. So I can't fault the man for his business ethic whatsoever.
I have to ask about that quickly, by the way, because that was the most prolific thing from the last event, was people popping up in Twitter and feed saying, "Lads, are you aware the battle's gone live already? Was that a mistake?" And it's, nah, enjoy. And everyone just being stunned at the turnaround. How was that even possible?
Do you know, me, Shotty Briggs have we've always had this thing, like we love obviously battle rap, we love it. Obviously we're all involved in it. But like we want it to be a media company, and we want it to be where people come in and go like, man, that was great. Man, what an event, what a place to be. It's like we don't want to just be like, all right, cheers guys, now fuck off. It's like we want it to feel homely, feel like a family almost, like it's just you're part of this community. It's not just like, do your bit, nice one, laters. So quality is definitely a big push from both me and Briggs, definitely from terms of media side, like it's massively important. We're both proper nerds when it comes to editing. So we spoke about alleviating it to someone else, this, that and the other, which is really difficult when you have such a high standard for yourself, because you don't want, you can pass up, go, oh, can you edit that? And then it comes back and you're like, oh, it's not the way I would have edited it. So then you sort of, it's a catch-22 really. You want somebody to take over the editing, but you need somebody equally just as good, and that equally that comes at a cost.
In your mind, how has Prem evolved since its inception in terms of its presentation and its community field? I remember seeing it pop up in my feed during the pandemic specifically. That's when I became first aware of Prem, and it was kind of a surprise because it was like, holy shit, they're off to the races, right? But even from then till now, and I remarked upon this in another interview where I said, I'm really impressed by the fact that every single production at the moment seems to have a stamp of approval that goes on it before it goes out. There's nothing that I point to in any of the edits and any of the presentation elements that I can really criticize. How do you view that as having evolved since you've been involved?
Well, I don't know if it's so much as I've been involved. I think just obviously, as the more you do, the more the edit, or the more that you get involved in terms of the editing side, you kind of you get better, right? You have more ideas is what you do. And to be honest, Briggs has been a wizard for graphics. Like he's always been really good at it, really understood it. It's just something that just works. But like there's a group of us. There's probably shout out C3bis. It's a little group that we have, which is me, Shotty, Briggs, Cole, Bobby Rex, Stro. I feel like I've missed someone out there. I'm probably getting shot for it. I think that might be it. I could be wrong. I could be lying. I don't know. Just off the top of my head. But like, so whenever we're going through, obviously, we don't just want to go, this is the flyer, bam, done, send it out. It's like, we want it to feel like, shit, that looks fire. That looks great. It's not good just having a flyer going, these are the names and this is what is on. It's like, you want it from a business perspective, business point of view, or media perspective. It's like we want it to look and feel like, man, this feels professional. Like it doesn't. It's the same we've always said with the photography stuff as well. It's like we've wanted it to feel like, oh, you don't just come and get a couple of photos. It's like we want it to be like, man, these photos are top tier. We love what we're getting here. This is great. This is something we can add to our own portfolio for things that we've got. And like, as a photographer point of view, I love it when people. This is going to sound, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but this is going to feel so egotistical. I love it when people share my shit, yeah, and I feel like it's the same for most media people, and they go, oh, man, these photos are fire. I love it. Like I get a big joy out of it. Like I'm so glad they like it. Like good, like that's that's what it's there for. But yeah, so I'm waffling it, but I just feel like the media standpoint for PB is so important in terms of being professional. We don't want to just put something half-assed out, and there's lots of rigor in terms of we'll sit and watch videos ourselves. So they'll sit, Briggs will be like, right, yo, listen, this is edited. Can you sit through? 'Cause obviously, once you're editing, when you're in an editing mind frame, it's so easy to miss things because you get like a fog over. You're like, I've seen it so many times, you can miss things. So we have like a panel of people, then we'll go, oh, this might need changing, or you've missed this, the audio's slightly out of sync, or whatever it is. It's just how it is. So there's a collective of us that will go through that to make sure it's all correct. That's pretty much where we stand.
Okay, let's get to the real thing I was nervous to talk to you about, which is royalties. How much do I owe you for the immaculate work that I've effectively plagiarized in using for my thumbnails over the last 2.5 years? I've credited you, of course. However, I feel like, though, that my thumbnails get credit in large part because the original photo is just fucking brilliant, and they're always yours. So how much do I owe you?
I'll send you an invoice.
Is it at least one page, or is it a multi-page invoice?
We'll find out. That's the best part about it, right? No, it's fine. I don't really have too much problems with it. I mean, obviously, it's always nice to be asked first. That's generally as a rule of thumb. I had a big issue with it last time when Don't Flop had taken some images. It wasn't so much Don't Flop. I think Crow was doing the images. He'd taken some images, and I was like, look, I would rather you ask me that you use the images like they're mine, or the PBs, we own the rights to them. And I don't like that they're on, it sounds petty, but it's just the way that it is. I don't like that they're on another league being promoted as their own. Like, it takes time and quality. It's not just that we've gone, bam, 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 done. It's like with this time and effort that's gone into making these things work. So I get a little bit mad, not mad, I just get frustrated, like, just, it's nice to ask.
I had an ulterior motive to ask him, which is, and I've said this a dozen times, you are to fucking battle rap photography what Michael Jordan was to fucking basketball, man. You're the fucking best. Like, you make people, but you make, and I meant this, you make battlers look like fucking, not just good, not just great, like fucking superheroes, man. The stuff you've put out and produced, and a lot of the stuff that Prem has done, has taken them from looking like good performers to stars. They have a sheen, a quality to them. My question was, how hard has that been to cultivate and accumulate over time? But more importantly, how does it feel that you've contributed to that, to their personas evolving due to the fact that fans perceive them as stars in large part by how you position them?
Yeah, I mean, I can go the easiest. So it's funny because we go back to this. So just like group chats and stuff, so I'll get messaged. If we run an event, and Briggs has been at this event, or it could be Trubs as well. Trub could be the same. And if they're not hosting and they're not battling, generally I don't take photos of them because I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the battlers. I'm thinking about hosts, right? And I will get so much shit for not taking photos because they're like, they enjoy when they get taking photos, right? It's just something they can add to the profile, add to something, whatever. But they're like, wow, where's my photo? Why have I not got a photo? Why have I not got that? But the flip side is that it's like, what I love is going back to the thing of like people saying, tagging, saying thanks for the photos. Like, for example, Bobby Rex. Yeah, this is like, he's a really, really good friend of mine. Like, I've got a lot of love. He's like family Bobby as well. But he out of his way will always ring me or text me and just say, bro, listen, these photos are fire. They're disgustingly sick. I've not seen one of me yet. Why? So I'm like, yeah, that's because you weren't battling, bro. That's why I was so focused on everything else. But then equally on the flip side, when he does get photos, he's like, I love battling because I love having my photos taken. So he's like, he loves, and I think that's a battler's thing. I think that's what it is. It's like battlers love that they can kind of encapsulate, this was me battling. Look at these photos. This is what it looks like, kind of thing.
I'd go further. Okay, and I'll quantify it. And this is for you watching at home, and I will ask this of you. When was the last time you had a picture taken of you without your knowledge that you were actually happy to release? Okay, now take that thought. Personally, so you were on holiday, you were at the bar, you were in the gym, whatever, and someone said, I took a picture of you, and you look at it and you go, delete that immediately. I look fucking awful.
I hate having photos taken. Yeah.
That's my point. And so you have somehow managed to traverse that tricky road from there to there where people are actually offended when you don't take pictures of them without their knowledge. That's how good you are, man.
Yeah, there is fun. It was. I remember. I remember when I joined PB. It was my first event that I went to. Was obviously, bear in mind, I know Briggs is shot, but been mates for fucking, I don't know, 30 years probably, some shit like that. Now it's been forever, probably even longer. No, it's probably not. Years, 20 odd years, whatever. The first I went to was the one in London, which was John the Don versus Shotty. That was my first event I'd gone to. It was literally just spur of the moment. I'd hit Briggs up and said, "Yo, what are you doing?" He said, "Oh, this weekend we're down here, come along." Like, yeah, cool. Took some photos, and I'd watched battle rap years ago, like when I was younger, watched it, and I was there on stage taking photos, and I was like, I fucking love this. Like, I was literally like, this is a fucking buzz. Like, and then it kind of translated then to like, when you first start, you don't know where you're meant to stand on stage, what you're supposed to do. Like, the photography, it wasn't new to me. I've done it for years, but it was a whole new concept. So then I was like, man, I enjoyed this. And then it's like, we went off and took some photos with Shotty and I can't think of his name. It's going to piss me off like now. There was somebody else, but we went to a laundromat. Laundromat is crazy. Why did I call it that? But that's what it said on the signs. That's American. And we went in there and took some photos, and it was just sick. And I really enjoyed it. And I personally don't like taking photos of people. Like, that's genuine. Like, I don't enjoy portrait work. I don't enjoy styling work in terms of trying to style people. I don't like fashion. It just doesn't interest me. I do like portraits that are really moody, very personal. So it's not just like, oh, stand in front of the thing. It's like I like that kind of dark, moody feel. That's why I shoot food. That's why I shoot cocktails and restaurants, because I enjoy that. And outside of that, it is just battle rap. I shoot people generally. It's just outside. It's just battle rap. I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, so it's always been a consensus that the quality of photos, it's been something that I've always been passionate about, because I want people to go away and like, and again, it isn't just me, because I want people to walk away from PB going, shit, we had all our photos taken and these videos recorded on, everything's in 4K, the images are clean, the video is clean. It's like, it's a whole production. It's like, we want to be a media company. It's not just about, we want to provide more. Like, we've spoke about it numerous of times. Like, we want to do more things with Premier Battles in terms of it not just being battles. We want to get other content, but that just takes time to kind of do that. And it takes more people to do that. We're a very small team for the stuff that we do.
What are some of the challenges of photographing or shooting a battle rap event? I know that sounds like maybe a simple question to ask, but having been at a battle rap event and seen how you maneuver through a crowd, over a crowd, sometimes under a crowd, through crevices, and sometimes even you've made your way to the goddamn roof of a fucking thing. I've seen you. Yeah. What are some of the challenges, man?
I think the biggest challenge, and I think the videographers will agree with this, is people on stage. Obviously, you've got this set amount of space on stage. You've got battlers, and then you've got battlers that just want a little bit of their entourage. Then you've got people that want to be on stage because they just want to feel sexy. That is probably the biggest challenge. It's space. Like, it's surprising how quick having. I mean, I've got a small lens as it is now, but I'm going to buy a smaller one so that I can make sure I get enough space. But that space gets so short so quick with more people on, and the heat, the warmth, it's not fun. Like, I've been at events where literally my t-shirt's just dripping in sweat because all that body heat surrounded by you. You're up and down, you're moving, you're trying to think of ways to capture a photo that are going to be good, or ways of trying to do something that looks different. That's probably the biggest challenge. Lighting is also a big problem. Like, cause some of these, however, Hootenanny. It's Hootenanny, right? They went to Brixton Jam Hootenanny. The lighting in there, beautiful. Like, it was just perfect. Like, everything just worked. It was clean. It was really easy to shoot in. Like, everything was perfect. We've had venues where the lighting has been so bad. We've had to have additional lighting, put lighting up. And trying to take photos without good lighting is super difficult. You have to increase ISO, which is then increasing grain, which can then depreciate the image because of that, because there isn't enough light going to the sensor. So yeah, there is challenges, but you get over it. You kind of think of ways to do it. I don't like using flash, for example, with people. I think it just looks too harsh on the skin. I know there's a couple of photographers that do prefer to do flash, which is fine, but I like the moodiness and feel of a room, and I feel like flash can kind of destroy that. it can kind of like push all the other stuff away. So then all you're getting is this light hitting this person, and all the other ambience around. It's nerdy, that ambience. All the other ambience around the room is kind of been taken away.
Talk to me about that then, in terms of some of the nuances of photographing battle rap. Because one of the things you mentioned there is heat. Again, I don't know how many times I've said the fact that if ever a battle rap event gets booked in a room where there's air conditioning or a window, I'd be prepared to pay double, maybe even triple my ticket price just for that privilege. But secondly, the fact that you're a photographer, and I'm remiss if I don't remind it of a Sherlock Holmes episode where the photographer was the murderer in the end. But he sort of remarked upon sort of how they become invisible when they're there. They move around and people are sort of semi-aware of their presence, but you kind of have free reign to go and move and kind of seek out a perfect moment. How do you make sure you're there to capture those moments in real time when, like, there's always the chance that you might get caught in a spot or, the moment might pass? How do you try and position yourself to always be there right in the moment?
Do you know, at the very beginning, I was super conscious about being in people's way, you know. Like, I genuinely like, I don't want to be in somebody's way, obstructing the view. Now, I don't give a fuck. It's like my job is to get the photos of the battlers and make sure they got the best quality. Like, you know, I want to make sure that's there first before anything else. So it's a weird thing, photography, I guess, in that sense, because you can really move around within that certain amount of space and nobody questions what you're doing. If you've got a camera in your hand, there is never a question like what you're doing. It's just like, cameraman, he's gonna go and do his thing. But yeah, there's it's surprising, even when you're coming through crowds to get to the stage, sometimes you can literally just hold your camera up and like, isn't it? It's like, you know, when Moses passed the sea almost, you just kind of walk through. Is it Moses that parted the sea? It was one of them anyway. So I think for that, photography does have that alleviation of like, he needs that space, because like people do it as well. People will move if you say, guys, like, man, I need you to move back, like there's just not enough space here. We discussed it before with me, Briggs, and that, and we said like probably next year we're going to really manage the stage on the big things, because it's like the 2-on-2 event and the last was so hard to shoot. That was probably the hardest hardest battle to shoot in terms of space that you had. I think even the videographer guys was like, yeah, man, it was super tight. So that, again, that's the other thing that people don't realize, is that you getting on stage, taking up space, depreciates the quality that we can shoot in, because we can't get into the angles that we need to get in to ensure that we're capturing what needs to be done. So there is, you know, sometimes I know people are like, I just like to be on stage. Like, I know, but man, we've got to have a job to do. We need to be able to do that effectively. So yeah.
Do you get much of an input in that? Because obviously you guys devise a lot of the space in there. In fact, it was match day 5. I was there pretty early, and watching the setup seemed quite mundane at first, but then you see how Stroh in particular was kind of directing things from the perspective of, right, let me be the camera for a second, let me visualize it, and then watching the footage back, you guys made the most of the space, the lighting, the setup, and indeed the battlers who you had. Like, there was almost like in his mind, he's like, right, if Bobby's going to be in it, he's going to be here, and he's going to be. How much direction can you give to that sort of thing?
Stroh is going to love the fact that you've just gone, he's thought about. He's
I was watching him, brother. It was so I was just hanging back, watching it all kind of, and it's impossible not to notice the attention to detail because he takes it so serious, and I love that. But my thing with it is I know you're trying not to interfere with the fans' enjoyment, but also the organic nature of battle rap. It is, you know, it's counterculture, it's niche. You don't want to interfere with the energy of it too much. So my question is, do you, and how do you curate that?
I think for us, usually as soon as we walk into a venue, we're generally looking at space, looking at light. Again, lights, it's one of those biggest things. It's what we can use. So it's great if they've got a lighting system, because that makes our life 10 times easier, because then we can just create light and make it much better for that. But if not, again, we're looking at where the light's going to be, where it's going to be shining, which way we point in the camera at. Is it like, you know, this way, that way? There is lots of kind of variables, but we've got a really good team that really know what they're looking for and what they want. So it does work. We do well with it. Stroh's not bad. He's all right.
I promise I wasn't paid for that yet. My question next then is, and probably a bit of a selfish question on your part, hopefully, which is, of all the events that you've been to and all the moments that you've been privy to, what's a moment that stands out for you that you're like, I captured that as perfectly as I possibly could. This is an example of my work. I'm gonna be able to stand by in 10 years, 20 years time and say, right, that's as sweet as it gets.
It's interesting question. I think probably one of my favourite photos I've ever taken was actually of Shotty and John the Don. And it just happened to be the pure fluke. Sometimes these things happen. I took a shot, and it was just as John was entering on the stage. The light was behind him. Because the light was behind him, it created a shadow at the front of him. And then so it just looked like it was just a silhouette. And it's probably my favourite shot I've ever taken in terms of battle rap. But I will say there are shots that I take on a daily in terms of battle rap where I'm like, oh man, that is so clean. Like, I love that. Like, I did a shot of I think it was, I try and do it sometimes when I'm aware of it because I think about it, because I think that's cool. It's a cool little shot. But like, if they're wearing shades, I'll always try and take a picture of the person they're battling within the shade because it looks cool, it's different, it's fun. I did it a couple of times with Frankie Fraser. Another guy, Frankie's probably the guy that always loves it. He loves. Sometimes I think he loves battle rap just because he gets to have photos now more. Like, I've had it before where it's like, oh man, I'm battling this weekend. I can't wait to get photos of Rick, which is it's a cool little take. Like, I love that. Like, it's fun. For me, it's great because I'm like, oh, that's nice, man. It's a nice little gesture. But yeah, so I think sometimes I'm always trying to look to see like, oh, is this somewhere cool? Like, I try and do it even like, sometimes I think about if they're standing with the hands on the hips, I'll try and shoot through the kind of like angle up through there to try and get it. It's not easy when it's fucking busy on the thingy, but I just try and think about ways that are different, ways that would like be a little bit creative. But yeah, I love it. I love what it is. I love what I do.
Two things spring to mind with that, which is number one, Battlers of the World. If you're to follow the mold of professional wrestling, all of the professional wrestlers have conversations with the cameraman in advance of the matches and the events to give them direction on, hey, when I do this, make sure you're here for it. Hey man, I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just saying it's a really good idea and a wise person would look into it. But the other thing I've noticed about some of your photos, and I don't know if this is on purpose, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I tend to look at battlers as having certain characteristics or aspects of their persona that are kind of embellished or played up for the sake of the performance, right? And Bobby Rex is the first one that comes to mind because of how animated, visceral, and aggressive he can be. And there's pictures you've taken of him that perfectly encapsulate that, and that's why it's been so hard not to use them for thumbnails, because they just don't work for thumbnails. They just work as their own images, right? My question is that cognizant in your mind when you, because there's other ones like Shuffle T standing there on the phone, like half crossed with 3 or 4 people dying laughing behind him, but he's completely deadpan. That was another perfect example of how you just sort of you're telling a lot in one image there. Is that something that you try to do, like you mentioned with the angles and trying to time it at certain positions?
I will say this. A lot of stuff that I'm doing is totally on the fly, because obviously I don't know what I don't know what the battlers are going to do, because I don't know the rounds. Also, on that note, listen, battlers, if there is something that you think, shit, this is going to be sick in a battle, it'd be great if I can get it captured, tell me where it's at, and I'll make sure I capture that. Because again, that's a bit of that. Obviously, I try and treat battle rap sometimes like a wedding. Yeah. So in a wedding, you have to be on the ball, man. You have to be able to watch everything, see what's going on, try and capture moments then, and like normal moments. And battle rap is very much like that. So you're kind of shooting, and sometimes I can forget that I'm shooting, like, and stand there watching the battle. I've found myself doing that sometimes where I'm just stood there and I've gone, oh shit, I need to shoot. Like, what am I doing? I'm just enjoying it, because this is the thing that people forget. It's like, you go, oh, did you like this, and that, and other? I'm like, I watched some of it, but most of it I'm so engrossed in the lens that I don't really get to watch too much of it. But yeah, I find myself doing that, forgetting that I'm meant to be taking photos because I'm so captivated by what's going on. But yeah, I treat it like a wedding. That's the best way I can describe it. And I don't shoot weddings.
that begs a question then, and again, this might be hard because you weren't necessarily paying attention, but maybe you were aware in hindsight. What's an event that you went to as a photographer, but you almost wish you'd been there as a fan to be able to fully absorb it and take it in, considering?
Oh, man. Do you know, pretty much every plug event, you know? Yeah, every plug event, I'm like, man, I wish I could just sit and watch this. Because there are obviously certain things like where you hear the bar go and you're like, that's a great bar. But you don't really get to be like, wow, in the kind of moment you're trying to capture what they're doing in that moment. So you can sometimes be lost in that. But I think every plug event's been fucking crazy for me. Where I think there was a even outside of that, there's I think it was one of the short circuit events. It was when Dojo was battling. I can't remember his name. It's some other guy. He wears a cap. I think he's about my age. Just really helps that, doesn't it? A cap really sums it up on that.
He wears a cap.
You know the worst part is, I know I'll remember his name after this. I'll remember it thoroughly. But Dojo sort of went, I've got 2 hammers, and it was just the perfect timing, perfect shot. And listen, battlers, if it pops off, run it again so that I can capture it. Because sometimes I'm like, I can watch a battle and I can be like, oh, this is a scheme. This is going off. I can feel it, and I'm watching it instead of shooting sometimes. And then I've done it pure times where I've gone. That would have been a fucking great photo, you dickhead. But because I'm so engrossed by watching it, it's not like the video camera. It doesn't capture everything, so I have to physically hope and snap and go. So that's the other downside to it. But yeah, so yeah.
I know what you're talking about in a sense. So what I used to do as a cheat when I used to have to think of thumbnails for a gaming thing that I was doing, I just used the footage to just try and pick an inopportune moment on my face, because I figured, well, if I filmed it, the chances are I can snip it. But of course, it's the degradation because it's in motion and all the rest of that sort of stuff. My question there is, right, and this is a bit of a selfish question again from your perspective, right? What have you seen that you would like to introduce to Prem if you had the... again, I know budget is an issue. I know timing, setup, logistics, and also your time. You've only got so many hours on a site, and you can only maneuver so much. Is there anything else you'd want to bring to the table as far as the capturing of the battles is concerned?
Yeah, I think in terms of sometimes, man, I'd like to do more profile shots of battlers. Every battle that we've got, I would like to do profile shots, just like proper impromptu shoots, just on the streets or whatever, just fully just out doing it. But I can't, if I'm doing that, I also can't then engage with people as well equally. And that's not to say I'm important, I need to engage with people. It's more the fact that it's just nice to engage with everybody else that's there, that's turned up. Super grateful for people that turn up to the events, massively. I love the fact that people come out and watch these events. It's such a random bunch of people. I try and explain it to people, and I'm like, it's like church, man. Because everybody at this place is the most randomest of people you would not put together. You just wouldn't do it. And everybody's super nice. And then after the event, we're all going our normal day lives, whichever that is or whatever that is. Do you know what I mean? It's just completely different. So I love it for that reason. So I would selfishly love another photographer that would do profile shots or BTS. I'd love a photographer to go around just to do BTS and just capture things going on. Because I try and do it myself, but I'm already shooting. And now after I've shot everything on this stage, I just want to chill. Do you know what I mean? I just want to just take a minute for myself. We've just gone back to back shooting of say 2 battles. Just sometimes I just want to chat shit for 10-15 minutes myself. But so it'd be nice to have another photographer that would be willing to do the BTS and just go around capturing people being people, kind of the very spontaneousness of that, kind of what's the word for it? I can't think what the word is. It's
I want to say voyeuristic, but I'm pretty sure that's a pornographic term, so I ain't going to use that.
It's close. It's not far off. but yeah, it's basically just capturing people, being people, and just enjoying the event. So it's like, great, we've got all these photos of battlers going sick, but then we're not also then captivating what's going on in the background, how people are reacting, what's going on, what are they doing, how's that look? Having a look at like, who are these people that are here? Because sometimes if you say rap battle, people are like, it's just going to be fucking rough. It's going to be full of mad heads, mad people. And realistically, it's not. It's just every walk of life in there. And sometimes I think we miss that. We don't capture that enough.
In your defense, when you say that you assume battle rap is rough, it clearly is because I'm there and I'm a bad man. But anyways, moving on. I have a question then regarding... Don't you roll your eyes at me. I'm fucking street as hell, son. I am a proper bona fide gangster.
Bona fide, right.
That's the thing he bit on.
Bona fide. That was awful, you know. I'm not gonna lie to you, that was painful. Just a little.
Is it the glasses? It's the glasses, isn't it? Or is it the
it's
overall nerdy demeanor?
Using whatsoever. Done.
Okay, sorry. I just shoot my shot, man. You know, I've got a reputation to try and bluff people into. Okay, I have a genuine question. Okay, because I'm going to attempt to do something at the next event I've never done before. I'm going to try and do live streaming from the event. I'm going to try and report from the event live and give people some of that behind the scenes that you're alluding to. Assuming that I don't fuck it up entirely, what would you want to see someone from the outside do on the inside of a Premier Battles event in terms of that kind of coverage? Like, what would you say would be good coverage from that perspective?
I think for me, I would just like to... And then again, it's like literally just random people at the event, not just like, I'll go and ask a battler. Like, we know who the battler is. We expect them to be there because that's what they're here for. I want just a normal everyday Joe that's just turning up. He works in an office 9 to 5, and every now and then when the events are on, he comes out, just has a great time. And then I would like to then know like what his thoughts are. What does he want? Like, what does this person want from PB? Because ultimately, you know, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, we need, as much as we love putting on events, we still need fans to turn up, or else we can't put on these events. So ideally, we'd like to be able to do things for fans that are like, you know, that are fan orientated, I guess is the kind of what I'm saying. So like, I'd love to know like what it is that they want. What do they think that we're missing? Because ultimately, they're the people that are coming to see it. Obviously, we've got all the battle rap stuff anyway, but like, is there something else that they think, oh man, I wish we had more of this, or if we had this would be great to kind of add content to. But I think, BTS, I think it would just be kind of speaking to people at the events that are just the normal everyday people, where people are like, wow, who is this person? There's no way this person goes to a battle rap event, because there are people there that you're just like, nah, that's mad. Like, we've got there's a couple, I don't want to use the word old, but they're a very aged couple, older than I am, that turn up to these events in Manchester every time they're on, or Liverpool. They come to a Liverpool event, and but put it in perspective, they have children at my age, and I know they're kids, but they come out, they love it. They love the battle rap stuff, and I'm like, that is so mad. Like, there are all walks of people. So when I try and sell it to people, I'm like, honestly, come, it's such a laugh. Everybody's dead cool. You just want to have a drink, have a good time. And if you enjoy rhymes and shit, or people just slagging each other off, you'll love it.
I'm going to ask you a question that I don't expect you to pick between. I'm going to ask you to pick between two children now, in effect, okay? What is better at a battle rap event? The battles, or the fact that everyone gets together and has a laugh?
Well, I mean, you can. There isn't really, is it? Because without
there's not
battle,
one without the other, I know. But if all the battles were cancelled, or all of the people turned up were fucking Spurs fans, for instance, and you just thought, well, this isn't going to be fun, what would you have to settle for in that if that's the choice I'm presenting you with?
From a business perspective, the battles, because I can at least try and make a return somewhere there, right? There's something there at least. But yeah, I think for me it'd be the battle. Like, it's gonna sound fucking terrible, but like, I literally have a really small social button for like just mooching about with people. Like, I'm really good at I'll shoot the event. I am happy just to go have a quick drink and fuck off. And not everybody's like, and a lot of people aren't like that. They want to just socialize. I'm like, I'm probably good, you know. I've done my bit here. Like, I could just go and sit in the hotel room now, dump my files, and do a bit of editing. I'll be good. I'm happy with that. So I think, yeah, I'd take the battlers, because then once it's done, it's done.
I don't know why you're making. Again, I'm going to throw myself under the bus here. The last event I went to, which was Checkpoint 5, the battle wrapped at 10:30. At 10:31, I was out of the building. By 12 o'clock, I was at home recording a podcast, because that was less socially depleting to me than shaking hands and dapping and drinking and all the rest of that. I've been there for 10 hours, brother. You know.
I'll talk to anybody and everybody. Like, I would never be like, listen, I'm good. I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'll always talk to you. Like, I've got no issues, like, in terms of having a conversation. But like, once the event's finished, man, I'm like, I have been up and down on my knees, up and down on my knees, shooting, taking shots everywhere, right? Everyone's going to be like, that's a pause moment.
We're not doing so. That was on Twitter today. I take your point. Don't you even think? I'll edit it out if we have to. It's all good.
So like, I'm constantly up and down. I'm maneuvering and going in and around. Half the time, we don't even fucking eat. Like, I'm genuinely, me and Briggs very rarely eat when we're at these events. We might get a pack of sweets we stick in the back, so we've got a bit of sugar while we're going. But honestly, we're doing a 10-12 hour shift here, and this is what it is. It's a shift, because it's not like it's work is what we're doing. It's not just like, we're here for a bit of fun. It's like, we've got genuine work to do. Like, we've got work to do. So half the time I'm like, I just want food right now. A cocktail, or a whiskey. I'm good.
Holla. Anyways, I have a few more questions for you. The last time I saw you in the flesh was at Match Day 5. And on that event, we got to talking, and you were mentioning something around a boxing match of some description. And we were talking about general gists of training and sparring. You then went and had said boxing match. Now, it was a slow day at work today, and I was prepping for this interview. I may have watched said boxing match. My first question is, am I allowed to give you a critique if I have one? And secondly, how bad are you going to beat me up if it's negative?
No, it's cool. Listen, I'll tell you. I can tell you how bad that boxing was. I was fucked. We chose to do 5 rounds of 3 minutes. We're fucking idiots. We're not. Why would we do that? Me and Crash both afterwards were just like, that was fucking stupid. What I will say is, me and Crash probably had the best time. Like, the back and forth constantly all the time, just having a good crack, having a good joke. Like, we got in the ring, and when we got in the ring, we just said, lad, this is going to be a buzz. And we were both ready for it. We didn't care about getting hit. It was just like, defend yourself. I was doing fucking pirouettes. Why was I doing pirouettes in a fucking ring? That's mad. What? Yeah. But yeah, shoot your critique.
Well, my first question is, whose idea was it to go complete head hunting when you guys didn't have head? Because I watched and I counted the body punches in the first round. There were none. You both just went after each other to take each other's scalps off. Why?
Yeah. To be fair, my technique was for that boxing match was to aim for the body, in the hope he would drop his hands, which he did every time. And I told him this every time. You drop your every time I went for your body, you drop your hands. I got a punch in the face. You got a punch in the face. And he's like, yeah, I did. But that was literally my game plan. So I was just waiting. Like, but then while I was doing that, he was, there was times where he was really aggressive as well. And I was like, I don't have the stamina for this. Like, I did not do enough stamina that I thought I did. I thought I was good. Listen, we went just before the match. They got us doing some rounds, like just going through rounds. I did 3 minutes on these 1 minute rounds for 3 minutes. Yeah, just in the back warming up. I was dead. After them 3 minutes. I guarantee Crash is going to say the same, but I was dead. Like, I was like, fuck, I've got to go and do 5 rounds of 3 minutes. Am I on crack here? What am I doing with my life? But I enjoyed it. Like, equally, I fucking really enjoyed it. It was such a good laugh. But yeah.
I do note that you had the more competent game plan, because what I noticed was a common theme was you hanging back, distancing yourself, and then trying to counter, which was probably, I wouldn't necessarily advise in a boxing scenario, except for the fact that Crash seemed content to go in with a 1-2 lunging, looping cross of sorts, and then he crossed his feet. And when I saw you starting to utilize the lateral movement, I'm like, Crash might have a problem here if he doesn't tighten up. So my question is, right, before I get too analytical about this shit, you said you had fun. right?
Yeah.
Would you ever do it again?
Me and Briggs have spoke about this. Like we wouldn't mind doing. It's been in like thrown up in the air. Like, man, maybe a buzz that just to run an event like that again, but in Manchester rather than London. I mean, I'd do it again. Do you know what it is for me? I'm lazy, Like, legit, I swear to God. I mean, I know I'm saying lazy and I fucking run forever, but, like, I'm a very... If there's something I've got to do, I'll go and do it, right? I'll go and get it done. I'll leave it to the last minute to get it done, though. That's my biggest problem. So I'm like, I've got this here. So in the boxing, I was training. I wasn't doing enough cardio, by all means, but I spent all my time on technique. Like, I did do cardio, and I know people are like, oh, well, you did technique, and you didn't really use much of it. It's like, listen, get in a fucking ring and tell me, it's fucking exhausting. After round 2, mate, I was like, this technique here can kiss my ass. I'm going to do pirouettes and that, and if I've got to do a fucking cha-cha slide to get out of it, I'm going to do it. But, yeah, so I didn't spend enough time on cardio, and Crash went the other way. So Crash has spent more time because Crash had more cardio than me. We spoke about it. He weren't as gassed out as much. I was in the 5th round. I was hugging him, mate, and telling him, "Yeah, listen, I'm not letting go of you, because I don't want to do this 5th round. We're hugging, and if you want to get off me, bro, you're gonna have to push me off. I'm holding on for dear life, mate, so you can get fucked." And like we were just laughing back and forth. I didn't want to move after the 5th round. But yeah, he spent more time doing cardio than he did technique. So it was a funny kind of way. We said it'd be good just to run it again and kind of both get on it. But man, that would mean I'd have to go and train again and do more technique train, do more cardio. Do you know how busy my life is? I say that, I've been playing Warzone today. But in general, life is fucking busy. So I'd have to spend more time just to fucking train just so I can get in a ring and box. My wife was like, why are you doing this? I was like, I don't fucking know. I don't know why I do half the things in my life. I just do it. I say, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. This is what happened with 9-2. Biggs was like, just do it, it'd be a buzz. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. It's like, yeah, but you do, it'll be fun. And I'm like, fuck it, yeah, let's just do it then. Fuck it, go mad.
Not that I'm advocating you do another one, but I mean, can I offer a bit some advice in terms of how one might get some training in?
Yeah.
Because I'm a bit like you, right? I'm very task oriented in the sense that I don't really like having something I do every day, save for work, obviously. If I didn't have to be paid, I'd do something different every day because fuck doing repetitive tasks. The thing that I found is I've got to kind of sneak it in. So I tried the 6 a.m. gym thing. The fuck is wrong with you people? I tried the 10 p.m. thing. Who hurt you people? And then I settled midday. And the reason for that is because you waltz in, do half an hour, 45 minutes, no one's there, you get a shower, you go back to work, and no one's even know you've gone. And you've gotten more exercise than you would have done otherwise, and you don't feel like your evening's got to be put on hold, or you've got to sacrifice the sanity of sleep. I mean, is that something worth considering?
Do you know, honestly, I actually fucking love training in the morning. Like,
what's wrong with you?
Honestly, like, I have to travel to get to work. I have to go, and it's not far. But like my first train to get to work is 6:30 in the morning. That's the train I have to get to work. So for me to get up early to go to the gym to train, it's like I'm talking 4:00 in the morning, which it's just too early for that shit. Like, because it's 4:00 that I've got to be there to train because I need an hour to train. Then I need to come home. I need to shower. Then I need to eat. So it's like it's a big fucking task. So for me, it's like, right, well, I'm having to get up at 3:00. Who the fuck's getting up at 3 a.m. to go train? Because I'm not. Like, I'm not doing it. I enjoy it, I love it, but I ain't doing it. So I could do it after work, which is always feasible. I usually finish work at 3:00, which is fine. Not many people finish at that time, so the gyms aren't always busy. But it's always that thing like, I just finished work, I just want to go home. I just don't know what I'm doing. I just don't know what I'm doing. So it's something that, yeah, it's a tough one. But that being said, me and Crash just spoke about, like, it'd be fun just to run it again, maybe sometime in the future. But like, man, I'm 37. What am I doing? You know what I mean?
We ask ourselves that every day once you hit 30. I'm 35 in December, so I ask myself that shit every day. But I want to take the last question to address one thing that has been leveled against you. I don't agree with it, but this is your opportunity to level it. You've been accused of not willing to run with a promo, to not carrying a promo, to not making a promo, not making enough of a promo, okay? not promoing, but use this opportunity. There's people now that could buy a ticket, that could be there on Saturday, and they're sat on their hands. They're just, nah, I'll wait for it to drop on YouTube, and even then, I'm not. Talk to those people right now. Tell them why they should be at the event, number one. But if travel is an objection, you just can't get there, why you shouldn't wait and get the Patreon right now on an ongoing basis. Talk to them. Tell them.
Oh, I'll tell you what, a couple of things, right? First of all, if you want these events to run, buy fucking tickets, because we need cash to do that. We need a cash flow. Me and Briggs aren't millionaires, you know. We're not, contrary to belief, we're not millionaires. We do it, half the time we do put our own money in just to kind of balance books or whatever to make sure we can get it right, or cover costs that we go, which we know we'll recuperate afterwards. But like, come to the events, because what are you doing sitting at home watching it? Anyway, to begin with, everybody's here having a buzz, and you're sat at home waiting for the Patreon to drop on the same night, sat there in your fucking dirty boxers or dirty knickers, whichever it is, whatever you want to choose, I don't care. You know what I mean? So just come to events, enjoy it with everybody else. Because one, it helps us grow as a company anyway, which means we can put on more events, on bigger events, like, so that we don't have to be like, shit, what happens if this happens, or there's too many variables. Like, just come along and get it done. And definitely subscribe to the Patreon. Fucking 1000% subscribe to the Patreon, because again, it's just something we can use to kind of recuperate costs, like, so we can build the company, so we can put on the shows that you fucking want. Or you want somebody like, I don't fucking know, like somebody mad expensive where you're like, oh, that'd be crazy, and we were like, yeah, did you know what that costs? Because you fucking don't. Let me tell you, you don't know what that costs, because once we paid the battler, we've got to pay for the flights, got to pay for the hotels, you know what I mean? There's just so many things to kind of bring it in. So yeah, man, do it, so that we can both have, all of us together can have a fucking sick event, because that's what it's about. So that being said, this event on Saturday, which is 5 days from now, fucking 5 days. Firstly, I'm battling 9-2. Actually, fuck that, I'm rephrasing. 9-2's battling me, because 9-2's a nobody. Yeah, and I'm Rick Charles, so fuck him to begin with. Second of all, whatever we earn from this event, we're going to try and put towards as much as we can to the fund for Briggs' The Pit, so we can then create a short film around battle rap, which is Briggs' dream. Like, it is, you know what I mean? He dreams big for a little man, and I love that. So I'm here for it. Like, I would support everything that Briggs does 100%. Like, he knows that for a fact. I'm behind him. Whatever he wants to do, I'm like, yeah, man, do it. Let's crack on. Let's have a go with that. But yeah, like, if you know Briggs, you know what he's like. He's a top guy, top geezer. Like, bit of a cunt when he wants to be, but he's great. Just a great guy in general. So come to the event, buy tickets, buy fucking merchandise. Again, merchandise. Listen, I can't fucking say this enough, right? You're gonna go spend 100 quid, right, on a fucking hoodie that just says, I don't fucking know, live, love, laugh, yeah? On this hoodie that's cost you 100 quid because it's done by your famous fucking friend designer or some shit. We're selling hoodies at 30 quid. It's the same fucking hoodie. It's just cotton. Yeah, it's got Premier on it. You don't even have to say Premier Battles. It just says Premier. So nobody needs to know that it's fucking Premier Battles and a Yoto Rap Battle events and you stink. You know what I mean? Just buy a hoodie. Buy a cap from us. Buy a t-shirt. Like, it literally all makes a massive difference for us. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll be able to feed my kids this time next year. Who knows? You know what I mean? And if that's a guilt trip and that works, yeah. Good. Good, I'm glad it works. But no, genuinely, do it all. Buy tickets, buy merch, like, because it's all those things help us incorporate the business into making big events for you guys.
How do you usually write your Christmas cards? First of all, fuck you for not writing to me first.
Yeah. Christmas cards, you can fuck off. Honestly, I hate Christmas cards, you know. I'm not even a Scrooge. I love Christmas, but Christmas cards can fuck right off. What a fucking shit thing that is. Oh, Merry Christmas. You could have just sent me a text, mate, and wasted that card for no reason. Just send me a text. I'm happy with that. I mean, but honestly, get to the event, buy the tickets, buy the merchandise, like literally the hoodies, the caps, or whatever. And if you think to yourself, oh, I've got a great idea for a merchandise or whatever, tell us and we'll make a design. I tell you what, you know what? I'm going to go out on a whim here. I'm gonna make a fucking poll and maybe like think of a great design that'd be great for a hoodie where you think I would wear that all the time, and we'll print one up and we'll do that. Briggs is gonna hate this idea, but yeah, I'm saying let's do it. Fuck it, because that's me. That's my number one basket. In.
Final question then: where can people support? As endeared as they probably are to you right now.
Yeah, keep back taking struts. No, I shouldn't. I do it every time.
Where can people find you and support you? Where can they buy the Patreon? Where can they order merch? And how can they support your photography?
You'll find us. I don't care about my photography. Like, that's about the business. I do. My photography stuff's fine. Like, I have that.
Yeah,
as a real
fuck your support. Fuck all of you for watching this. Honestly.
I don't care about support for me. Like, whatever. I got this as a real job. It don't matter. Photography is a real job for me, so I enjoy that. Premier Battles, though, that's a business that we're still working on. So anywhere on socials, Premier Battles, you'll find us on like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You'll find us. You probably already know this because you're watching this. You're like, oh, Premier Battles, guys. But Patreon again, Premier Battles, PremierBattles.club. Go find the tickets. You'll find us on Skiddle as well. I believe it. Yes, Skiddle. You can find us on Skiddle at Premier Battles as well. Just do that. Just hook us up, and we'll make great events because Briggsy knows what he's doing, and I just take photos. And I am obviously head of marketing because I like and quote tweets on Twitter, mate. So fuck all yous lot in the background saying I don't. That goes to all yous. You knows who. Yeah. Fuck yous.